Welcome back, everybody, to 31 Days of Halloween on the Calvin Camp podcast, the podcast where we talk about everything spooky and chilling. I'm Calvin.
And I'm Anthony. And today we have Tim Burton's Nightmare Before Christmas. So let's get into it.
All right, everybody, we are back. It's day 16. We are doing Nightmare Before Christmas. This is just one of the most special movies that I've ever seen in my life, and I hold it very, very highly. We had to do it. We had to put it on this list because this movie it's so awesome, and it's like it's dear to my heart, just like Calvin. I mean, I have obviously this shirt here, and we have Say Hello to Jack, our friend Jack on our set here. So we love this movie, and we had to include it. It's so good, and it just it touches on two different holidays. We could have done this at Christmas time, but we're doing it for Halloween because it's based in Halloween Town.
Yeah, it's Halloween Town.
The Nightmare Before Christmas. Give us a little rundown on this movie.
Oh man, The Night Before Christmas is a stop motion animation film directed by Henry Selick. And is basically derived by characters by Tim Burton. The story tells of Jack Skellington. He's the king of Halloween Town who stumbles upon Christmas Town and schemes to take over the holiday. It's basically the plot. Danny Elfman wrote the score and did all the songs for this movie.
So good. So brilliant.
The principal voice casts include a really all-star cast of people. We have Chris Sarandon, which I didn't know was one of the voices. Chris Sarandon is amazing. He's in Fright Night. He's in Child's Play.
Yeah.
Catherine O'Hara, which is in Beetlejuice. William Hickey, Ken Page, Paul Rubens, R.I.P. Paul Rubens.
R.I.P.
And Glenn Shaddix and Ed Ivory. So this movie has an all-star cast. It is a phenomenal musical. To this day, I think it's one of the best animated musicals ever made.
I think it's one of the best musicals in general. This movie's songs, like, I can literally sing word for word just out of memory the words of the song, the lyrics. And I mean, over the course of my life, every year I probably listen to the album like all the way through by itself, not even with the movie. So.
Yeah, and the thing is, every song is basically a scene from the movie, which is really, really, really cool. And it just, there's so much passion that was involved in making this movie. The stop motion animation, Danny Elfman was just absolutely phenomenal doing the score for this, and it was just so good.
Yeah. I'm gonna ask you a question. Who are some of your I just rewatched the movie, and not by name, but who are some of your favorite like characters in the film, like creatures? Because like things that I didn't notice before that I actually absolutely love is I love the 4 vampires. I think they're hilarious.
Yeah,
like they're just like really
who's really
voices.
Who's really cool is the town mayor.
Yeah. Town meeting tonight.
Yep. Yeah, the town mayor is cool.
Yeah, I love him, and I like that his head like flips around too. I think it's cool. Yeah, just I was paying attention to a lot of the characters a lot more, the background characters specifically, and I was just like, wow, there's like so many cool different characters in this film that like I don't feel are recognized enough. So
yeah, Dr. Finkelstein.
Oh my God, he is. Yeah, you know, I had a very interesting revelation with his character. As I was just like, he's just a dad. He just cares. He just cares a lot. Yeah. Like,
there's so many cool characters. There's Zero. There's Sally. There's Lock, Stock, and Barrel. And there's Oogie Boogie. I mean,
yeah,
so many iconic characters in this movie. I mean. Oh, this movie, it's so good. Just even with the songs, the pacing of this movie is so well done.
The pacing in this movie is I will say, like, yes, it is well done. It's surprisingly fast. Like, this movie is you're like on a ride. Like, it's going. There's very few times. There's like one drop in what's like things actually happening in the movie, but it's still like slowly, crawling. It's like when you're climbing up a roller coaster and getting ready for the drop. So good. Love everything about this movie. The atmosphere in this movie. I know that the sets were pretty like small, probably as big as our table, like which is super impressive. And just the fact that like you're doing stop motion in general. Stop motion is not an easy art. Like
No.
it's not an easy art. So I mean, maybe technology has made it a little bit easier today, but back then, like I'm sure that it was like a big hassle. So and Tim Burton, we all know that he likes to dabble in that. So
Yeah, and Tim Burton, we know he's a storyteller, and his dark silhouettes and his just style of filmmaking, you can see it in this film.
Yeah.
You can totally see it. I don't know. There's so many things to say about this film that it's hard to cover in this episode. We might do another one, but
yeah, we'll probably go a whole big deep dive. So at some point, but for now, with the 31 days, we'll keep it brief.
Yeah. Just the whole, I'd say, just the emotion in this movie too, by Sally, by
Jack.
Jack just shows so emotion. Like he's so into some, a new thing by doing a new thing, which is being Christmastown. He says it in this song. He's sick and tired of the same old thing.
He's like, who would have thought that the Pumpkin King would, I think one of the lyrics is, but I, Jack the Pumpkin King, would grow so tired
of the same
old thing. Like, and it's really actually deep, and you see the character just longing for something to interest his life, some change. And that's where he gets his like fixation on like Christmastown. After discovering it, he's just like, oh my God, this is something new. I don't have to do the same shit. Like I can try and bring Christmas to Halloween Town, and we can just do something new for a while so I can have some change. But I also feel like going along with his journey, ultimately at the end is realizing who you are.
Exactly.
And embracing what you're good at and who you are.
Yeah.
So,
and he finds out that he wasn't really good at this. And in the end, he wants to fix it, so that he does his best to fix it.
yeah.
And after, taking Santa Claus and becoming Santa Claus, he realizes that he made a mistake and he had to fix his mistake.
And then fighting Oogie Boogie.
Yep.
And I think that it's even funny, like when he's in the real world and he's like, they're all looking out for him. Like you can hear the sirens and shit. Like, I think it's just funny. It's, obviously he knows that he's messed up and he has to make things right. And then Santa Claus comes back, saves the day, bringing Christmas to the world. But
yeah,
I think it's also really cool that the the holidays are now aware of each other at the end. So they like Santa Claus like grants snow in Halloween Town, and it's really it's wholesome. It's cool.
It's a wholesome movie. It's a great movie for your family too and kids to watch. It's just a heartfelt story about, even all the characters, but Jack's story and Sally's story. Like it's just so compelling.
And they have beautiful, beautiful chemistry as characters. Like they're a great romance. But they're not like it's great because it's not forced.
No,
like,
it's not.
So it's really beautiful to see it develop. And it's kind of funny just like to see what the citizens of Halloween Town think of Jack, and like how they treat him as a celebrity, and kind of harass him, like the paparazzi at one point, like right after they do the Halloween intro song, the witches, they go up to him, they're like, you make walls fall, Jack.
Yeah, they praise him as a god, so it's just like it's just so cool how he's presented as a character in the movie too. It's there's just so many sequences in this movie.
Nice work, Bone Daddy. Yeah, no, it's really great. And I really love this movie. It doesn't really have a legacy per se. I mean, obviously, it's very, very popular still to this day. I guess just it holds itself up so high, it doesn't need any sequels, really. There's rumors of a sequel being discussed. I'm not sure how I feel about that. I kind of feel like this is perfect and you shouldn't touch it. But this movie has had some video games.
Yes, it had a couple of video games back on the PlayStation 2, I believe.
But I know for a fact it appears in my favorite video game of all time, which is Kingdom Hearts. Halloween Town is a world in Kingdom Hearts, and it reappears in Kingdom Hearts 2, and it is great. Like being the character in that video game, playing along with the characters of Halloween Town was so fantastic for me. So like extra love for Nightmare Before Christmas. But yeah, like I guess that leaves us with reviews. What would you rate this movie?
It's 5 out of 5.
5 out of 5.
No questions
No
asked.
questions asked.
You don't even need to. You need to go there.
You don't need nothing.
This movie is 5 out of 5 because it was groundbreaking with Henry Selick directing it, the stop motion animation team, all the puppets that they created on the set, the music score by Danny Elfman. It's just amazing. I don't think there's going to be anything better in terms of a musical for an animated film. Just the all-star cast brought all those characters to life. There's nothing really bad to say about this movie. This movie is an awesome piece of work, and I'm glad that Tim Burton made this movie. And it also pays homage to the old 70s Christmas films. I can't remember those movies, you know.
Yeah, the stop motion, like Rudolph and all that.
Those movies, it pays homage to that. So, Tim Burton, you're a master at your craft. You always have been. I'm a huge fan of yours, and I love all of your work. I miss you. I hope you come back and make some more stuff because I do miss you.
Yes.
You have a special place in my heart for filmmaking, and you're amazing. So that's all I can really say about this movie and Tim Burton.
Yeah, I have to 100% agree. This movie is an easy 5 out of 5. Like, it is so solid. Like we were talking about in this entire episode, the pacing, the songs, the acting, the voice acting, like is incredible and so unique to their specific characters that are portrayed. And I absolutely, watching it again was so nice because I hadn't seen it in a good minute. So watching again, I was like, why haven't I watched this movie more? This movie is amazing.
It's a movie you should always watch. It's basically a Halloween movie you should watch every Halloween and even Christmas, honestly. It's like the best seasonal movie, animated film ever. I mean, that's just my personal opinion that I have about this film, but it's a classic and it always will be.
All right. Well, then let's let me see. I'll pull up some fun facts for you now.
We've got a lot of facts for this one, I believe.
You got some fun facts?
I've got a couple I can read off.
Okay,
I'll
go
let
ahead.
you kick us off, though.
Oh, okay. I'll start. In 2001, Walt Disney Pictures began to consider producing a sequel, but rather than using stop motion, Disney wanted to use computer animation. Tim Burton convinced Disney to drop the idea. Quote, I was always very protective of Nightmare, not to do sequels or things of that kind. Burton explained, you know, Jack Visits Thanksgiving World or other kinds of things just because I felt the movie had a purity to it and the people that like it, you know. So that's Tim Burton holding his baby dear. Tim Burton, he said the original poem was inspired after seeing Halloween merchandise display in a store being taken down and replaced by a Christmas display. The juxtaposition of ghouls and goblins with Santa and his reindeer sparked his imagination. Danny Elfman found writing Nightmare's 10 songs as one of the easiest jobs he's ever had. He says, I had a lot in common with Jack Skellington. Having created demos of all the songs in the movie for director approval, Elfman had gotten really attached to Jack since he could relate to being loved and famous, as he was, lead singer of his band,
Oingo Boingo.
Oingo Boingo. but like Jack, he was no longer happy with his situation. Elfman mustered up all of his courage to ask his friend and producer, Tim Burton, if he could voice Jack. But before he could finish, Burton simply told him, Danny, worry about it. Don't worry about it. You got the part.
Yeah, and you can see the passion behind Elfman. He wanted to be this character, and you can tell by the performance in this movie.
He put everything into it.
He did. He put his heart and soul into it. And he's just, Danny Elfman, he's such a phenomenal composer. Like, God, he's done so many good scores for so many movies.
Okay. At around 13 minutes, it is stated in the making of book that the most difficult shot to film in the entire movie is the shot in which Jack is reaching for the doorknob of Christmas Land. Viewers can see the perfect surround reflection of the forest around Jack in the background.
Yeah, it's so amazing. I do have one fact here. For the film's 2006 re-release, Disney Digital 3D had a 3D version of this movie, which I did not see. They had re-released a soundtrack that had songs by the Fall Out Boys, Panic at the Disco, Marilyn Manson, Fiona Apple, and She Wants Revenge. I remember, I have the soundtrack. The Marilyn Manson, he does one of the tracks, and it's just fabulous, dude.
That's awesome.
So
that is awesome. I got a couple more fun facts if you guys are interested. But Patrick Stewart did the original introduction for the movie, which can be heard on the film's soundtrack.
Interesting. Never knew that.
I know, that's a really cool one.
That is a cool one. That is a really cool one, actually.
Zero's nose is actually a tiny glowing jack-o'-lantern.
Yep.
Let's see. Oogie Boogie was originally intended to be Dr. Frankenstein in disguise. Or Finkelstein in disguise. I'm sorry, not Frankenstein. Reportedly, Tim Burton was so infuriated by this idea that he literally kicked a hole into the wall.
Oh, damn.
Tim's like, this is my movie. I'm doing it my way.
I could see Tim doing that.
Yeah. Let's see. This is the first stop-motion animated film to be rated PG by the MPAA.
Interesting. I did not know that. I've got one here. This is a cool one.
Mm-hmm.
A collector's edition of The Night Before Christmas themed Jenga game was released with an orange, purple, and black blocks with Jack Skellington's head on them. The set comes with a coffin-shaped box instead of a normal rectangular box. I want to get my hand on one of those. That's kind of cool.
That is really cool. And I think, let me grab one more. So, Oogie Boogie is reminiscent of the boogeyman concept and the old phrase, don't let the bed bugs bite, since Oogie is a pun on the boogeyman and is composed of bugs.
Yep.
So, there are a ton of fun facts for you.
We could go on forever.
There are so many. For all the movies that we do, there's always so many, and I just want to pick only ones that really stand out.
And like Calvin and I said, we're basically going to re-dive into breaking this movie down a little bit further in an upcoming episode. We don't know when, but we're definitely going to keep it in the future because
maybe for Christmas
we'll have a huge breakdown in this movie. But this was a brief one. We had to add it into the show and into our list because it plays a huge role in both of our hearts. We love this movie so much.
All right. So that's going to do it for today's episode. Thank you so much for sticking around and watching. We appreciate all of you so much. You are really helping us out a lot. So thank you, and we'll see you next time.
Have a great evening, guys, and thank you for the much like and support.
Thank you all so much for watching the Calvin Cam podcast. You can find us on any social media platforms like Instagram or Twitter. Go check our podcast out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or Amazon Music. We also have YouTube channel, the Calvin Cam. Go over there, hit that like and subscribe button, and follow us there. As well as you can now really support us on Patreon.com. It's probably the best place to support us. So you can go there, join one of our 3 tiers, and help us get bigger and better. And we will appreciate you every step of the way. Thank you all so much for watching. Have a good night.